Starting streaming. Does that mean I'm streaming? One never knows. Alright, let's see. Okay, I am streaming. Alright, go to live chat. Shows one person in here, but I think my phone doesn't give me accurate numbers. So I'll give it a few minutes for folks to pile in, or to stroll in, or to not enter at all, or something like that. While we're waiting for folks, I will just sit in here. Oh, we got one person. All right. Hi, Silver Willow. Welcome. Welcome to Saturday morning. Rob's still tired, and I like yawning. I'm just waiting for more folks to come in. Hopefully we get a few more. But what we're going to be doing is, I guess I'm just hopping on the tarot bandwagon. I working on a series on Maddie's channel, or Lucian's channel. Hi, Katie. Good morning. Where he's talking about symbolism, and it got me to thinking, because when I read cards, I read completely intuitive, especially with the Wizard's Tarot. So I wanted to. It's a couple of things. I wanted to actually take a real good step-by-step through three of, one's the Wizard's Tarot, and two other decks. Another one is my very first deck that was gifted to me, and that is the Witch's Tarot. And I wanted to include the Starman Tarot, because it is the most visually stunning deck, image-wise, that I think I've ever seen. So once we get some folks in here, I will kind of kick it off. And what I'll do is I'll bring the cards up. I'll give you guys a preview of the first three cards. We got four people. All right, well, let's get started. So the first card I'm going to talk about is what's traditionally known as the Fool card. So this on the I don't have a pointer. How could I not think of a pointer? Well, I'll use my little wheat stuffer pointer. This card is from the Witch's Tarot, and it's a pretty traditional Fool card. Hi, Jack. How are you? Hi, Shawnana. Shawnana. How are you? So if you look, pretty traditional Fool card. I see, your typical Fool. He's kind of blindly. Sorry, my phone's deciding to ring in the middle of a live. Fantastic. The traditional Fool walking off the cliff type of, blindly. And that's what we see here, right? He's got the, the little, the stick thing, his little packing, his little bag, whatever. But it's pretty, what you would expect from a Fool card. And the next card is the Initiate. And I've talked about this card on Lucian's channel. Just waking up 6 and Pat's still sleeping. Again, this card depicts a student, if you would, right? Because we know that this Wizard's Tarot deck is the overarching theme is this Harry Potter-esque Mandrake University type of thing. So this is a new student heading off on a new journey. right? In the middle is the Starman Tarot, and this is why I really want to dig into the Starman Tarot, and I'm going to read what this card means, because when I first got this deck, it was very tough. I mean, beautiful to look at, but tough to read. But now I'm looking at it, right? So it's called the Sacred Clown. That's the Starman's version of the Fool. And if you look, we have a figure. I don't know. He looks kind of zombie-esque to me. But and I'll read from the book to see what exactly the author is kind of, or the illustrator is kind of going for here. But the funny thing I'm noticing right off the bat is he's walking and he's surrounded by bear traps. So there's that element of danger. So the traditional Fool and the Starman Fool have that element of danger, or Sacred Clown, whereas the Wizard Tarot, I don't get that element of danger. I get that element of anxiety, being anxious to start a new chapter, right? In this card we have a young student that's starting a new chapter in her life as she heads off to university, which is depicted way in the background there, almost hinting that she's traveled traveled afar through, the woods, which in itself could be dangerous, or could have that element of danger, and but she's made that journey. Whereas, and what's funny in contrast is she's near the end. I mean, coming close to the end of her journey, right? Her destination is right behind her, within view. Whereas, these two cards, we don't know where their destination is. It's like they're just beginning. So it's funny how there's a contrast here of the initiate versus the Fool. So I'm gonna, I just want to read from the Starman book and see what the thought of the Sacred Clown is, and we can kind of look at the bring in the cards, and so we're talking about this one here right now. I should pointer. Anyways, the Sacred Clown, or Hioka from the Lakota tradition, knows that nothing we think is actually true. No belief is fixed. As a trickster and shaman converge, he probes beneath the veil of normality to reveal the astonishing and unexpected. Indeed, the gap between you, and what you have understood to be you. This is getting deep. This is so deep I can barely even read it. His words are like a lightning bolt which can pierce the heart. He does. He is pretty intense looking, right? If we bring him back in, he does have that really intense look to his face. This card depicts the Sacred Clown dressed in a black and white striped antlet hat. Oh yeah, he's got the antlet hat. I didn't even see that. I didn't even notice that. Grinning mischievously as a burst of flame shoot from his finger. Yeah. Naked and painted to the waist, he is surrounded by walls of garish graffiti, which appear to be alive, morphing, moving, strands of hypnotic color, bursting with energy, standing on a path bedecked with sharp-toothed traps of ill-gotten gold. Interesting, they're made of ill-gotten gold. He appears unconcerned that they might cause him injury. An almighty star ball of molten fire glows and puckers close behind, and he is indifferent. He is touched by everything and damaged by nothing, seeing the cosmic joke of ultimate illusion, where we see limitation, fear, and pain. And it kind of goes on, but that's an interesting. It's an interesting take on, just starting out on the Fool's Journey. I don't have the book for the Witch's Tarot, but I can pop up and let's reread the Wizard's Tarot now, and see what the differences are. All right. So and I got it crooked. Look at what I'm doing. All right. So in this card, what I'll do is when I'm reading, I'm going to put a little pointer so we know what we're talking about. So this is the Initiate card. The Initiate represents all newcomers to the world of magic. She's the picture of purity and innocence, perched on the edge of monumentous change. Okay, so that's where, like I was saying, like the anxiety comes in, because yeah, she's a new student and there's going to be monumentous change. Anyways, perched on the edge of okay, so I've read that already. She's untested and naive, willing to trade her inexperience for wisdom, but she doesn't realize what her commitment will entail. So when you look at the three different scenes, so starting with the similarities that I see, and I'd be curious to what you guys think, and feel free to comment. I'm gonna pop back over to the comments. The similarities are, the beginning of the journey, right? The traditional fool, he's starting off his journey blindly off the cliff, if you would. The Initiate, she's starting magical study, at a would-be, school, trading in her innocence and naivety for knowledge. Not aware that it's going to be a long road. Think about, I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone to college. It's a huge undertaking. It's a big change. Should I ask, is this 3 different decks? Yes. So we have the Wizard's Tarot right here. We have the Witch's Tarot right here. And this is the Starman Tarot. Katie was asking 3 different decks. Yes. So that's the Initiate card. And again, now Sacred Clown, he's, beginning his journey. He's a little more whimsical. He's not worried. Well, I don't think either of them are really worried, right? The Initiate is unaware of the commitment that she's about to commit to. So kind of blindly, a little unaware of what's going to happen. Sacred Clown, he might be a little more aware of his surroundings. They're there before him, but he's unconcerned with them. He feels he's probably invincible, if you would. So he's unfazed. And he's got a little bit of whimsy about him. And I find that interesting because, when you look at the traditional fool, he looks a little whimsical to me. So there's a similarity, I think, a little bit between these 2 cards, where there's not much whimsy with the Initiate. So it's kind of what what I see, when reading these, and just based on the imagery. I don't know why my phone just popped up and asked me to watch TV. Let me go out of here and go back in because it's a bit weird. Anywho, switch this back to live chat. Sorry about that. I think the popcorn background is cute. Perfect for the channel. Yeah. I did that because my graphic for the popcorn party. I was, I was contemplating changing it. So maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep it for a little while. So yeah, I mean, those are the similarities kind of between these three cards. Now, before we move on to the next card, some of the differences that, I see. First off with this one, the cards, she's a female. She's a female, as opposed to these two, which are male. So that's a difference. The settings are vastly different, really. The Sacred Clown, he's, it's hard to say what kind of a world he's in. He's in some, crazy place. It's maybe even an astral realm where reality and non-reality kind of meld together, right? Initiates, in the woods, kind of at the edge of the forest, which, like I was saying, she's at the end of her journey to get to her destination, but that's not the journey she's about to embark on. See, I didn't realize that. I forgot about that. Is she's about to embark on her educational journey. So that's almost like a figurative journey. Whereas, what do we know about the Fool's journey? Outside of the fact that my pointer is just not working like I'd like it to. His surroundings, do we know where he's going? I don't know where he's going. That could be part of, the blind faith that the Fool has. In his journey. So I thought that's pretty interesting between these three cards. So that's pretty interesting. So let's move on to the next set. Okay, let me grab this, and this. So now, as I put these away in their respective boxes, we have the Magician. Magician is one of my favorite cards because as a wizard, I consider myself a little bit of a magician. Let's compare now these. Let's get these lined up. These three cards now. The Magician. Let me pop over. We'll take a look. I'll do the Wizard's Tarot card first, because I know we've read about this Magician card. And let me bring it in close. Sorry. The Magician is the master of the physical world. He is able to convert energy to matter and to bend time and space in conformity with his will. The position of the magician's arms, one up and one down, embodies the ancient maxim, as above, so below. That's the belief that life on Earth reflects higher principles and ideals. As he works, the magician is encircled by four powerful magical tools: a wand, a cup, a sword, and a pentacle. The elements. The fact that the tools are floating in air suggests the magician has complete control over his tools and his talents. Right? Interesting. Good morning, Dawn. So that's that's our Wizard's Tarot Magician. Right? We'll put that there. So now let's move this over here. We're gonna crack the book and let's see what the so in the Starman Tarot, it's not the Magician, it is the Starman, I guess the star of the deck. Okay, the Starman is an attractor. Hold on, let me start this. It's written quite weird. The Starman is an attractor field through which we can observe the self, we believe to be true. We are being invited to see the inherent nature of the human condition and look at what has been fashioned by culture through the ages. The belief and value systems we have simply adopted. His glorious presence awakens us to see another realm entirely, and in that resonance, seemingly irrefutable facts are seen as fictions. We see the Starman bringing the seed of transformation to the world, carrying a weapon that compels us to self-destruct in one hand, and the golden key that unlocks our supreme potential in the other. The luminous one, descending to earth with his arms outstretched, an alien messiah, a vision of ecstatic color, light and fire, molecular worlds streaming tendrils of life-giving substance. Traveling through space, surrounded in time, ripples in the exposure, his presence shimmering with ancient symmetries, waiting for the moment to reveal his power, because he knows it will blow our minds. Wow, very interesting. So, there's two. Wow, that's kind of powerful, albeit tricky to read. So, and let's hold on. Let's skip over this magician right now. The traditional magician. Good morning, Ozark. Again, is when we get to the similarities. The arms outstretched, as above, so below. Okay, so we know that these two magicians are magician cards, and they have that in common. We have the Starman. He's in the simplest form, a celestial being, if you would. As the book suggests, coming down from the heavens. Is he a omnipotent alien? Is he a god? Right? We don't know. We know he has immense power, as depicted by, just look at him. He's glowing, glowing with energy. Right? So he's surrounded by magic. So he's kind of that kind. It's the Starman. It's not a magician. It's a being from the stars. Blah says, "Can I ask a question?" Of course you can. Absolutely, yeah, definitely ask questions. One thing I do see in common with the Wizard's Tarot card and the Starman, and let me know what you think. Both of these guys seem to be surrounded by magical energy. So they're controlling, we're witnessing them control that magical energy. If you look at the Magician in the Wizard's Tarot, we've got bands of energy all around. His tools are floating around him. He's in control of them, and he's actually using them. There's like an orb of energy surrounding his wand. Let's see. We have a question. My boss is causing me trouble and wants me out. Would I be able to stay in the company? There's a probation meeting coming. Let's do this, because I'm not really doing readings, but if you'd like, I never say no. Let's get through a few more cards. What was that? Through a few more cards, and maybe towards the end, I'll do a reading for that. Just because I don't want to clear the table and pull out just to do a spread. I hope that's okay. But I'll pull 3 cards, shuffle them up, and give it a go. Continuing on, right? So here in this Magician, we see his tools before him. So that's kind of a link between those two cards, right? He's got his tools. He's got a sword. He's got a cup. I'm guessing that's his pentacle. And if you look behind the cup hidden there, he has a wand. So that's his magical tools. But it kind of ends there. It's a pretty plain table. It's a pretty, kind of pretty, pretty plain, pretty plain card. Another similarity between these two cards is the infinity symbol above the magician's head. I do not see that above the Starman symbol. Right, because we're looking at really two different beings, if you would. Starman being this celestial being, if you would. With the magicians, I would think they're a bit more mortal, albeit magical. So that's our magician. Yeah. Dave. So yeah, I definitely like to be nice. Yes, absolutely. I've actually been in that situation, and it's no fun working in a situation where, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Last time, and I have here's the thing with me. I have a high value. I really do have a high value of self-worth. I don't think anyone from my work watches my channel, but I will be the first one to tell you. So I work in IT. I work in a technical field, and I do not get along with my boss. The problem is, and I think maybe it's a little bit me. I work in technology. I'm a network engineer, a network admin, and I have a hard time. I've always had a hard time working for non-technical people. Maybe I'm a bit old school. I believe that, if you're gonna run a tech services department, you gotta know what's going on. And I have a huge problem with going into meetings with my current boss and talking completely over his head. When I started at my current company as a network engineer 5 years ago, over the past 5 years, I completely rebuilt their entire infrastructure. Everything technical, including wires, is all new. First thing I did was virtualize their entire environment, a whole new Wi-Fi network, a whole new network, and through that process, it was a tough process. Sitting in meetings, talking tech, and having a boss that's basically lost in the sauce. It puts a rift. It really does. It's a butting head sort of. So I'm pretty familiar with that. Anyways, and we'll do a reading for blah in a little bit. And I want to put this out there. I want to start, and I'm very. Those of you that know me, I'm a very. How do I put this? Well, let's just say, I want to put out there that, I want to make myself available for one-on-one paid readings. I have a hard time saying that because I don't want to come across as advertising. But there's been some interest in that. If any of my lives, anyone ever asks for a reading, I'm going to do it unless I can't time-wise or whatever. But I am available. Hit me up to do paid readings, and I would do like a good 15-minute. I call it a 6-card spread. I do 3 and then 3 more for like $10. I'll do a half-hour full Celtic spread, for $20. something along that lines. I don't really have a price list, but if any of you guys just want to drop it in case there's any interest. But anyways, let's move on to High Priestess, which I should show you them. The High Priestess. So, 3 strikingly different cards, if you would. Like, I see some similarities, especially with these two, but as we come to expect, the yeah, Sean, I think I'm gonna do that. That is a great idea. I love when I'm surrounded by smart people. So let's do a quick meaning of these. Not the Magician. So the High Priestess. Now this is the Wizard's Tarot. I got the little. Can you guys see the little pen? This is actually a little stuffer. Okay, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is the embodiment of mystery. Like the ancient oracle and sibyls, she, like the ancient oracles and sibyls, she is the gift of prophecy. She can see into the next world and into the future. She makes an excellent teacher, a guide into the world of spiritual enlightenment. The High Priestess reads cards by the guiding light of the full moon. The High Priestess familiar, which is a black cat, chases the moth like a shadow chases light. The drapes on the window represent the veil between this world, and the next. The High Priestess routinely parts the veil to see into other realms. Which, interesting. Right, we've read up on that one. Shona says I'm a smartass. Yes, you are. We're all a little bit smartass, aren't we? So now I'm gonna let's see what the Starman Priestess has to say. And guys, is this interesting? Oh, there's Lucian. So the High Priestess for the Starman Tarot. The High Priestess is the guardian of the mystery, of the mysterious, subtle and deeper aspects of life that are not visible or obvious. She has command of the esoteric knowledge and sacred wisdoms that are part of the collective unconscious. Right? The collective unconscious. Items we are unaware of that even exist. Associated with the moon and the wellspring of life and movement lurking in the deep dark waters. She embodies deepest innate wisdom, the knowledge and wisdom of Mother Nature. As the keeper of your unconscious, she sits at the liminal boundary between what you are aware of and the vast spectrum of the unseen inner realms. Traditionally conceived as a passive, receptive, feminine, calmly waiting for life to unfold, she manifests for me as this powerful force of nature, which journeys between the visible and the invisible, part diva, part shamanka or shaman. Her clothes are adorned with snakes, which form a Celtic perspective, are symbolic of secret knowledge, cunning, and transformation, and points to the High Priestess shape-shifting energy and utilizing, whatever that is, energy that is unseen. There's definitely some similarities there, right? She's the guardian, if you would, between the seen or reality world and the unseen, right? She's like this shaman or shamanka. This High Priestess, very similar, she's she peers through the veil. I love this card because she's a tarotician. She's a prophet. She's a tarot reader, and she reads her cards. By the moonlight. That's how she peers through the veil. Some similarities in imagery that we pointed out when we were doing this on Lucian's channel is in the High Priestess card in a more traditional sense, right? You've got the black and white pillar, where over here you've got the veil, which is black and white or reversed patterns. We don't see too much of that in the Starman High Priestess. We do see the mirror effect, if you would, right? Because there is a little bit of a mirror effect with this card, right? If you divide it in half, outside of the color of the pillar, it could be closely a mirror of itself. Outside of the High Priestess herself, right? She cannot be split. The rest of the scene can. You divide this one in half, right? You get the same thing. Take her out of this picture, and most of it's mirrored outside of some of the symbolization and stuff. In the Wizard's Tarot, it's a little bit less. There is some hints of mirror with the curtains, but it's focusing more on the craft, the esoteric part of it, what she is actually doing, the act of her peering through the veil. That makes a little bit of sense. This does to me. Anyways, let's move on to a few more. Our next card is the Empress. Now, the Empress card, before we even dig into any meaning here, right, the Empress is typically fertility and the like, and abundance and all of that. So let's see how these cards kind of lend to that. Now, we've seen the traditional Wizard's Tarot Empress in the past, and we talked about this when we did this comparison on Lucian's channel. She's perpetually pregnant. She's kind of like she's like the mother to everyone. They're very motherly. Let's pop in and let's read a quick blurb on the Empress from the Wizard's Tarot. The Empress teaches herbal magic from her sunlit arboretum, where the spirit of nature is fully engaged in the magic of creation. Perpetually pregnant, right? Perpetually pregnant, she is the embodiment of fertility and creativity. Her posture and position might remind you of the saying, "The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world," right? She's kind of like, could be like sitting in a little bit of a throne type position. Remember that some creative projects take months to develop. They take shape gradually, and even after they're born, they need to be nurtured and protected until they can stand on their own. So that's the Wizard's Tarot. Interesting enough. So let's pop and let's take a look at the Starman Empress, shall we? The Empress. All right. As the archetypical mother, the Empress embodies Mother Nature and the various seasons of life, from birth through to death. She understands that to fully embrace life, we must experience its remarkable hues, ready and open to accept the joy, love, and happiness together with the pain, loss, and sadness. What is born will eventually die, and thus we must relax and open to each day we have, understanding the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. She is the embodiment of summer, ripe, bursting with vitality, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. A conduit for powerful sensual pleasure, beauty, and sexuality. Whatever. That is, wait a minute. Beauty, sexuality. I don't know what fecundity, that is heartily celebrated by her. The milk of life pours from her breasts, and indeed, she has the milk of kindness in her heart, knowing how to attend to creation, nurturing, full of warmth, love, generosity, and patience. I realize how tough of a read this book is. But, so yeah, if we look, I'm seeing similarities through all three of these, right? She's this Empress, right? She's sitting perpetually pregnant. She's got a little baby bump going on there, but just surrounded by so much beauty in nature. She has everything from flowers, spices, little pixies, all kinds of fairy, all around. She's that motherly beauty. And she's got the crown on her head. You look at the Empress here, it's kind of very similar, very busy. If you look through the imagery, it almost hints at a lot of nature around her. It's got a very foresty look to the pattern. The Starman cards are all really based on these vibrant patterns for backgrounds. She doesn't look perpetually pregnant, but she does have the milk flowing, and it literally does look like milk flowing from her. Also has the crown of stars, and again, she's sitting in that hand that rocks the cradle rules the world type of posture. And then the traditional Empress, or the witch's Empress, sitting on a hillside, she looks more maternal, like this Empress. This could be a baby bump, and again, very surrounded in nature. There's flowers before her on the ground. She's in nature. And what I find really striking with this card is we have both sun and moon. Is that hinting at some balance there? Or is she kind of in command of both elements, sun and moon? Very interesting. I don't see, as I get close, I don't see the sun and moon in the Wizard's Tarot Empress, nor do I see much of it in the Starman Tarot. But there's a lot of differences and similarities in these cards. Hi, Gypsy. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Hi, October. Let me see. Let's see. Make sure I said hi to everybody. So that's our Empress. Hi, Gypsy. My ride the bus friend. So that's our Empress. Very interesting card. So let's look at our Emperor. The Emperor. And I think, what are we looking at for time? 9:44. Oh, all right. We're making pretty good time. I won't forget to do the reading for Blah. Love that name. Some of these names are great. Blah. I am Blah. I love it. All right. So now our Emperor card is here. What did I do with my pointer? I'm sitting on it. So let's see. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Gypsy. Yes. Gypsy's just saying hi. Hello. Hello. So who keeps trying to call me? Anyways, let's read on the Emperor card, shall we? This is the Wizard's Tarot. The Emperor represents order and control. He's an ambitious ruler, a tireless commander, and a charismatic visionary. He is willful and stubborn, confident, courageous, and strong. He governs through logic, reason, and will. The Emperor's desk is carved from a solid block of marble. It's the essence of structure and stability, and it's practically as immovable as the Emperor himself. The shape of the desk also suggests the cube of space, the metaphoric shape of the universe. I don't know about the metaphoric shape. I didn't know that. The metaphoric, so the universe is square? I didn't know that. And let's read on the Starman Emperor, shall we? Okay. The Emperor. I think we'll do a few more, and then yeah, we'll see. The Emperor is the paternal father who instructs about what matters of responsibility, about the matters of responsibility, order, control, and discipline. Very similar to our other Emperor. He is a formidable character, a stern authority of the law, rules, and regulations that govern society. A man of great integrity, intellect, and strength, he assumes leadership, providing stability, security, and protection. A firm disciplinarian, we do not always welcome our dealings with him, and yet his righteousness, harshness, and punishment is enforced so that we can learn to be more self-disciplined and think logically and rationally rather than succumb to the rampant ride of emotion. Conceived by me as a fantastical space emperor, donning his robes with theatrical flourish like some superhero from the genre of 80s sci-fi films, Flash Gordon and Dune, he's a contrived vision of both Abraham Lincoln and David Bowie. The neutron patterns centered at his navel, the power center, symbolizes knowledge combined with physical power. His palace is the bricks and mortar extension of his mind. The archetypical the architectural environment which fosters such intelligence. So let's take a look at our emperors, shall we? And let's look at the Starman Emperor. Yeah, they both, I don't know, if you look at all three emperors, they're all very, solid men, very commanding and very, stern, tough looking individuals. You look at the Wizard's Tower Emperor, very serious look on his face, and as the text depicts, he's almost as immovable, or the desk is almost as immovable as he is. So he's a pretty immovable object in and of himself, right? You look over here, very similar, very strong looking emperor, very tough, someone you don't want to mess with, in a both magical and physical sense of the word. The both magical and physical sense, right? Because you can see the magic emanating from what I would call the sacral chakra, the sacral area. This emperor depicts his magic, for me, as holding this crystal ball in his hand, right? And he's got a mace in the other hand is what it looks like, which is kind of very similar. Now, if we look at the similarities between the three cards, obviously the emperor being a very stern individual, an emperor, a commanding individual. You look at their environments. These two emperors are holding, I'm not sure there's a word for it, but like the staves. He doesn't have one. His magic, I guess, is coming from different tools, but it's still the same, effect, if you would. He's sitting on a desk. The thing is with these cards here, it's because of the overarching theme of the deck being that, it takes place in the fictional world of Mandrake University. It's kind of like this author's version of Hogwarts. That's where the desk comes in, but it's a symbol. It's a symbol of immovability. It's that rock. It's made of marble. You're not moving it very easy. This emperor, right, he's sitting on, a throne, if you would, which is also in and of itself a pretty immovable object, In ancient times, right, there were sayings, you can't take on the throne. You're not going to win that battle, You don't take on the king unless you're really sure you can beat him. But very interesting. I get a very similar vibe from this card, these cards, and I don't know. He's kind of like he's got a little hotness to him, if you ask me. This guy, he's got look at those arms. Oh boy, I would wake up to. Is Lucian watching? I'm gonna get in trouble. But I would wake up to those arms any day. Hello, be my emperor. Oh goodness. What are we at? 9:52. Let's do one more. Let's press on. Oh yeah. That's good because is another one of my favorite cards, and I wanted to make it to this card, and see where we go. But there's a few cards in these decks that I really, 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 really resonate with, and I just like because of the contrasts, if you would, between decks. This is our Hierophant or High Priest, right? So you'll notice in these two cards, the High Priest is a Hierophant. He's called the Hierophant. Let's not put the microphone in front of my face. You can see me. So, I like the text on this Hierophant. So I want to pop over. Oh my God. All right, Lucian. His arms look nice compared to my arms flopping at my side like dead chicken wings. Jesus. Anyways. So let me see. Which your mom says which decks are. These are 3 decks. So this deck. Oh, sorry. How about we change the camera? This deck is the Wizard's Tarot. This deck is the Witch's Tarot. And this deck is the Starman Tarot. Starman Tarot is a very interesting deck. It's kind of, the art is done by the artist that did artwork for David Bowie's albums. So there's a heavy David Bowie influence. Well, the Starman, right? If anyone knows any of David Bowie's work and the significance of the Starman. Yeah, so those are the 3 decks. So let's do a text comparison. I know I've read this Hierophant text before, but let's do this again. This is the Wizard's Tarot Hierophant. Mandrake's professor of mythology doesn't just teach the subject, he's part of it. Chiron was and is an immortal being. That is the depiction of Chiron. When Hercules accidentally shot Chiron with a poison arrow, however, his immortality condemned him to suffering without end. As Chiron sought relief for his crippling injuries, he accumulated a vast store of medical knowledge. He shared that wisdom with others, which led him to his legendary reputation as the wounded healer. Typically, the Hierophant card symbolizes teaching, tradition, inspiration, and revelation. Interesting. So let's pop over to the other text and let's see what this Hierophant is all about. Now this is the Starman Hierophant. The Hierophant is the guardian and custodian of religious knowledge and the spiritual beliefs. A religious figure or guru, which he has in parentheses, teacher. See, can I put this under there? Is it going to show up? See, it says teacher. Preserving and passing knowledge on intact. Passing knowledge intact. The masterful conduit of spiritual energy, he is admired and acknowledged as a teacher of God's law. The keeper of spiritual wisdom passed down through the millennia. He alone has access to this knowledge, and as the spiritual authority, is master of ceremonies, choosing wisely who is initiated into the ways of spirit and spiritual governance. I have depicted the Hierophant as part man, part wolf. Interesting. Probably the most misunderstood of all wild animals. Wolves are seen merely as killing machines that hunt in packs, a scourge to be rid of. As so much so that now most species of wolf are considered endangered. Wolves, in fact, are extremely gorgeous. They mate for life, has strong family bonds, a clear clan structure, and deflect conflict where possible. Though their clans are highly organized, they are truly free spirits. A symbol of the night seen howling at the moon, they represent the lonely path of journeying within to learn and discover our inner power and strength. Interesting. I wish I had the text for this deck, but it's so old. I don't even think I got a booklet with it. It was gifted to me. But let's move in closely. Yeah, he looks like a little wolf guy. And what's interesting is the beastly, if you would, connection between both of these cards. They're both half man, half something else. Chiron is like half man, half horse or something like that. Yeah. Or like a centurion. This card here, he's the high priest, which is your typical, I will grab the meaning from this book here. Well, it just says the high priest gaining spiritual knowledge. It doesn't really go into much about the high priest, but think a high priest like a priest. He's the leader of spiritual wisdom. So that's a common thread between the three of these, being spiritual, being teachers, right? Priests typically are teachers. Unfortunately, some teach bad, others teach good, but we're not going to get into that. But that's that's our Hierophant over here. So now the only difference, right? He's the healer, the wounded healer, right? He's a mythical, from Hercules' time, an immortal being that was shot by a poison arrow, and through that, trying to cure himself, gained this knowledge that he now teaches. So he's got a little bit of a health connotation to him, whereas the Hierophant here is kind of more esoteric. They both, when I look intuitively, depict that teacher aspect as I itch my nose. And I think I get that vibe from all three of them. Interesting enough. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Maddie just got home. So next time when we pick this up, I'm going to pick it up with the Lovers. So I guess we'll make this a regular thing Saturday morning until I get through them all. I think it's kind of fun. You guys think this is kind of fun? And so now, if Blah is still here, as I gather the cards, I'm going to put the rest of them away. I can do a quick reading. And I will scroll back, bear with me as I pack some stuff up. And I will definitely flip back. Let's take a peek. If I remember Blah's question.
Oh shit, I'm falling. Oh.
Please don't fall.
Okay.
What the hell did you buy?
More drink. Oh, this is the food.
Holy mackerel, that's a lot of food.
Shit, I have no table.
Yeah,
I do.
I'll just put this on the floor.
So, well, say hi for something?
Yeah.
I gotta show them something cool.
Okay, because let me do my reading. Let me do my reading for Blah. So,
okay. Hi everybody. So I just want to show this very quickly. What I found for like $2 is this awesome, what's it called? Oh, perfume bottle. So it unscrews, and bam! It has the little dropper. And this is the bottle.
How long is it before this ends
this
up?
was only $3.99.
Put it down here.
And it's funny because when we were at the gem show, we actually I saw one of these.
Interesting.
So yeah, the top part is a little dropper. And then we have the bottle itself.
Interesting enough.
Yes.
More stuff to trip on. Love it. Love it. Yeah. We need to move out of our little house and buy like a warehouse. Is someone going to get rich and get me a McMansion? All right. So let's do a little couple of shuffle. I want to shuffle these up good because they're all verklempt. So, Blah, are you still in here? We can do a quick reading on your job situation as I shuffle up the cards a bit. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And guys, don't forget, every Wednesday night I do a whole show on free readings. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So I can get you all on the list and do some readings. Okay. I want to shuffle these up good because I had all the majors all bunched up. So I want to make sure we're shuffled really good. Da, 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 da. If I was smart, I would have.
Ow, cat! Jeez.
I would have used my other Wizard's Tarot deck, but anyways, let's do the reading. The cloth got a little verklempt over here. So we have 10 of Wands, Chariot, and Queen of Wands. So, here's what I see. And it's funny, like I said in the past, I've been in your situation in the past also. And I'm currently in a little bit of a work situation myself where, you know, I feel a little underappreciated. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. To be honest, the cold hard truth is what I'm getting from here. Is it may be time for you to move on. I see a lot of move on. I see the 10 of Wands. I see immediately the image that pops out to me is gathering up your, like, right, the guy here gathering up his wand, staff, whatever, and moving on. Chariot is finding your direction in life. And then the Queen of Wands, which is funny because I see this particular queen as a confident queen. Look at the confidence in this queen's face, if you could. I know it's a little glary because the lighting is... All three of these... Well, sorry, this is one deck. It's very glossy, but like... If I can make it stand out a little bit more, right? She's a very confident. So what I'm getting here is you're vastly underappreciated. And I said, I've been in situations like that at work too. I've even had the probation meeting. And here's the thing. After the probation meeting came the meeting that I called to give my 2 weeks. If people can't appreciate you, and if people aren't going to appreciate you, they don't deserve you. That's my take on it. When I work, I give 110%. And I judge myself not on the work politics, but on the results. And like I say, I work in tech, and I can walk through the building I work in, and I can point out physically and technically the mark that I left on the company. That's how I judge myself, right? But still, you don't get that appreciation. And even in your case, it seems to be less so. You know, I've made it a career promise to myself. If I was ever dragged into probationary meetings, and I wasn't already looking for new employment, it's time to start. It's only happened once in my 20 years doing what I do. But that once, it wasn't more than a month after that meeting, I was saying sayonara. And I'm getting this here. And I know you asked if somewhere else in the company would work. The only thing I can say as an answer to that is only if it is 100% detached from your current department. You know what I'm saying? Doing something else in the same department, you know, in proximity of the same boss and the same people, I don't think is going to work for you. I think actually considering moving on will lead to finding your direction in life, which is going to get you in a place where you are more confident. Because here's the thing. And I'm not a manager now in my current job. There's a whole long story around that. Because my job is very political and it's like high school. It seriously is. There's cliques and, but the thing is, I've been a manager in the past. And I will tell you, as someone who was told was a really good manager, especially on the people aspect of management. I'm not so good with the paperwork aspect of management. But when it comes to people and development, I've been told I was pretty good. Nothing shatters confidence more than a badgering probation meeting. And when confidence is gone, you're not going to have it takes confidence to do your job well, no matter what you do. So I just don't see this as a very winning situation. I think, in short, it may be time to, monster boards, if you would. I know it's a tough thing to hear, but giving the situation, even logically, it makes sense. See, you wouldn't want to be here. That would be my goal, to be telling, your current boss is, see, you wouldn't want to be here. So I'm not even looking at the comments. Let me pop in here. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully you're still in here. Let's go to the bottom. So blah, I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what I'm getting. And one thing about this deck, the Wizard's Tarot deck, is, it can be whimsical at times, but when it's blunt about something, when something needs to be said, when something, this deck can be pretty blunt, and I think this is a pretty blunt message here. But anyways, that's that. Guys, I wanna thank you guys for joining me. This has been a pretty fun Saturday morning, and we're gonna pick up talking about these 3 decks maybe next week. I think I have a doctor's appointment next week. Ooh, maybe not. Oh, let me check my calendar. Because I don't want to give you guys bad information. No. Did I not put it in here? Crikey. I don't know. Stay tuned. I'm going to say, yeah, let's try to, we're going to continue this next week. Sorry. Because I'm pretty sure I have a doctor's appointment next week in the morning. So if that is true, I will let you guys know, and we'll just push it out to the following week. Blah, you're so very welcome. And thank all of you guys for popping by for Saturday. Yeah, good luck, Blah. Definitely good luck. I think you'll do fine. It's just a big decision you need to make. And like I say, the Chariot card right there says finding your direction in life. And that's what's that's coming. What's the matter?
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, plug me in.
Oh, of course, plug me. Do I get plugs?
Yes.
Oh, I bet I get plugs. That's why I'm losing subscribers. I get plugs all the time.
Dave. See what I mean, guys? See what I mean?
Don't give me that. Where's my straw? There.
Ouch.
That's what I mean. Anyways, yes, check out the Conjurer's Table. I'll have to make a graphic for him. Let's see, because that's what, and I'll have to do that. This is the Wizard's Tower. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Just definitely hit the like button. Check out Conjurer's Table. Also, check out the Facebook page. As she says, smart ass friend says. I think I'm gonna post something in Wizard's Tower, because I want to make myself available for some one-on-one stuff readings, where I can do more in-depth spreads. And like I say, it's gonna be really economical, like $10 for a 15-minute 6-card spread. $20, I'll do a half hour. We can do a Celtic spread, and even some other spreads. If you wanna have it around the world done, that one's a bit. That one's gonna, maybe I guess I could fit that in a half hour. So we could even do that. You're the driver. But I'm gonna put a post there and I'll make it an announcement, a sticky post, yeah, and we'll do that. Yeah, don't forget, somewhere in time also, a good point. Pass it around. Share this channel. Share each other's channels. In the chat, if it's YouTube, so everybody in the chat has a channel. Click on it. Watch, I'll show you, because I'm going to do it right in front of you. Let's see, who don't I know here? Let me see. Dawn. Go to channel. And I just subscribed. It's that easy. Of course, I got to get back now. But definitely pop in there, like and subscribe each other. Let's see. I'm going to go into Blah. I'll go to Blah's channel. And I just subscribed. Oh, look at, I got candy. Just what I need. It's going to make me fatter. Anyways, bye everybody. I love you. Have a great rest of your weekend.